and welcome to my new video. Where am I today? I'm actually in my office. Get me with my home office, although you couldn't really call it that. I have a wee printer here at the window behind me. I have two big shelves here. Most of that's actually craft stuff. And I have some storage here and I have a bookcase there. So not terribly perfect as an office, but it is my little home office. So yes, hello, it's me. I'm still here. Just about, actually. I've been faffing about, folks. I've been absolutely faffing about. I've been playing at trying to get this weight off, and I'm hoping now I'm in another wee zone. Now, when I say I'm in a zone, yesterday was a nightmare. Because clearly the day I start some regime, that's the day I go off the rails. But I collected my son yesterday from his daddy's, as I do every 2 weeks, and we have a 2-week rota. That's 50-50, but it's just, it starts and ends on a Saturday. So anyway, collected him yesterday and we went to Tesco's as usual to do our shop. And I have to be careful here. I have a candle that I want to talk to you about in a wee second that it's lit. But anyway, so we went to collect or do our groceries and whatever, and we got down as far as the eggs. He says, "Mummy, I'd really love to do some baking with you." Well, I hadn't really got anything keto or anything like that in the house, and he was very insistent that he had a recipe for buns or a cake that he wanted to try, and that he had done in his daddy's house, and it was his recipe. So we had to literally buy everything from scratch. I had to get baking powder, self-raising flour, caster sugar, eggs, vanilla essence, and very naughtily I got Dr. Oetker's vanilla buttercream. Don't even look at me, for I'm shamed for myself. But anyway, that's another story. So we did the recipe. And I was adamant that I wasn't going to eat any of these buns. But of course, like any good baker, I couldn't resist. Couldn't resist licking the bowl or the spoon, of the mixture. So he had the bowl and I have a Kenwood chef. So he had, he got all that and I got a wee bit of the spoon and everything. It was lovely. So we made the buns. And they came out lovely. They were absolutely bloody delicious. So, of course, I had to have some. And then I had to have some of the butter icing and everything. Anyway, buttercream icing. So, to hell with it. That was the start of it. And then we went to the cinema last night. Went to see Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Very good movie, actually. The two of us very, very much enjoyed it. But I had nachos with salsa and a Diet Coke. So that was that. Anyway, so today I had a cafe au lait, I have a Dolce Gusto machine downstairs in the kitchen that I make, my wee coffees. And I'd always been buying the skinny latte and the skinny cappuccino, thinking they're better for me. Turns out I got a big box of the cafe au lait, 10 calories less per cup in the cafe au lait than there is in the skinny cappuccinos and skinny lattes. No brainer then. So I tend to have 2 in the morning as a big mug. Now that's 6 grams of carbs using 2 pods. So 3 carbs per pod in those, which is probably a bit much, because what I'll probably end up doing is just running the water through twice. So it's still only 1 pod, but I can fill it up with water and have just a weaker version of it. But because I think 6 grams, even if it's a breakfast, it's still just a bit much. I'm saying a lot because I haven't really thought about what I wanted to say to you guys today. And I started writing a wee list of things that I wanted to talk to you about. But that sounds very then, oh, see, just did it again. It sounds very, you know, rehearsed, and I don't do rehearsal for these. But I gathered a few things that I wanted to talk to you about anyway. So today I had 2 of those. I had some macadamia nuts. Now, the only problem with macadamia nuts is they're too bloody delicious. And they're very hard to eat. Now, when I say they're very hard to eat, you get, you know, you can't chew more than about 3 without getting a wee bit of a jaw ache. But they are bloody delicious. But they're very high in calories. Now, they're very high in calories, which is, but low in carbs. I just did a num again. Did you see that? That's a wee tell. But yes, very high in calories, and so you can only have 2 or 3 at a time. Otherwise, you know, you're setting yourself up for being very, very silly. So I've had that. Then I've had lunch. I'm trying to do some, and this is what I wanted to say as well. I'm trying to do a little bit of intermittent fasting. Now, it's just coming up to 2 p.m. as I'm talking to you now. And I started having the coffee and macadamia nuts at about 8 o'clock this morning. Excuse me. And it's Sunday the 9th of October. I can't believe it's October already, folks. I cannot believe it's October already. Anyway. So then I've made myself, had to use up some of the reduced to clear or whatever I had in my fridge. But what I bought was reduced to clear crayfish tails from Tesco's. And I had some fresh tarragon reduced to clear and some chestnut mushrooms reduced to clear. I rarely try and, apart from things like fresh milk and things like that, I rarely buy anything full price. I try and get as much of my daily shop or grocery shop from the reduced to clear aisle, certainly for meat as well. So it means you end up with some strange dinners sometimes, but anyway. Oh, and I got some reduced to clear white Stilton, which I don't really recommend. There's not an awful lot of taste to a white Stilton, and, you know, it's just a very mild cheese. I totally prefer blue Stilton. And that's what I always try and look for in the reduced to clear section in Tesco's as well, because a lot of times when they do have a bit of cheese out, there's a wee bit of either Castell Blue or blue Stilton stuck at the bottom that nobody wants, and I grab that. So today I made a bit of a curried soup. Basically, I threw everything into the frying pan and then just add a bit of water to it to make a bit of a soup. Not a big soup, not a pot, just a 1 pot soup. So what I had was a teaspoon of crushed garlic, or smoky, that very lazy jar things you get of chopped garlic, which actually has in a teaspoon 12 grams, because I wrote everything down. Do I have it here that I wrote down? No, I had a little, oh, I do, actually. Let me tell you, I'm just going behind you guys, folks. Just a second to lift this up. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly what was in. Are you still with me? Okay. Okay, so, because I wrote it down on, oh, look at this. I love this. It's a post-it notebook thing, right? So I've got all various crap on here as well. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to look for, oh, this is another thing. Let me write this down. Wardrobe, French. I'll come to tell you what that is in a second. And a website or a new YouTube person to kind of look out for as well. So, in my soup, let me just put that down. Ooh, too much. Sorry, folks. Sorry. I am absolutely faffing with this now. Right, that's better. I just don't like feeling as though I'm right up in the camera there. So that's a nice distance. 15 grams of curry powder. Now that I kind of just guessed at because I put it in before I realised to weigh it. But I kind of did the most of it that I could. So that was 15 grams of curry powder, which actually has about 3 grams of carbs in it, which I didn't realise. Honestly, I thought herbs, spices wouldn't have any carbs in it. And I'm like, oh my God, too much. So I'm going to have to, and those are the sorts of things that when you're making something, you know, you maybe count your carbs in your chicken or your pasta or whatever it is. But those things you don't tend to count. You know, you think, oh, I just threw a few bit of powder in or whatever. Lesson learned. Got to count those. So that and the smoked garlic was about, in fact, let me just go into MyFitnessPal as well, because I started putting it in there. I've really got to stop saying right. So for 12 grams of the chopped garlic, it was 2 carbs. Only 10 calories, but 2 carbs. The crayfish tails, I had about 120 grams. This is a wee packet. And that actually has 2 carbs in it as well. Frozen broccoli, which I love, and I could live on that. Any of those big frozen things, frozen cauliflower, kale, broccoli, cabbage, and various forms. You know, you can get a lot of things like, you know, broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage and leek and all those things. So not so much the leek, because the leek's from the onion family, and that has higher carbs in it. So be careful of that. So the broccoli has 200 grams weighed out, 5 grams of carbs. Now that's okay. I would rather have 200 grams of something, which is fairly substantial for broccoli, and have those 5 carbs than a little teaspoon of the garlic and that be 2 grams of carbs. So, you know, I'm going to have to start thinking about how I'm just guesstimating a lot of this stuff. By the way, I'm living on this at the moment, folks. Soda water. 4 for £1.50 in Tesco's. Excuse me, taking it straight from the bottle, but I'm the only one that's going to be drinking it, and if I get the allergy or whatever from it, to hell with it. White Stilton, I put in about 86 grams of it, so I was trying to get up to somewhere between 80 and 100. It's only got 1 gram of carbs, but 330 calories in less than 100 grams of White Stilton. Chestnut mushrooms, 70 grams, 11 calories. And according to this, no carbs. Like, this is the... right, okay, somebody better educate me here. I still can't work out whether mushrooms have carbs in it or not, or whether it's any substantial amount of carbs. And I've seen places like on this MyFitnessPal where you put in like 10 grams of mushrooms, it's like 17 carbs or something stupid like that. And other times you could put in like a mountain of mushrooms and still not get any carbs out of it. So I'm still unsure of the actual makeup, nutritional makeup of a mushroom. I put in 10 grams of tarragon for 1 calorie. Bless it. That's lovely. It's got a lovely aniseedy kind of flavour. Yes, now here we go. 15 grams of the curry powder. Now, I don't know whether it was 15 grams or not, but I'm guesstimating. I'd rather overestimate. But anyway, if you use 15 grams of curry powder, it's 50 calories and 3 carbs. Outrageous. So all that, anyway, was in my wee sort of 1 pot soup. And it literally is, it was just enough for 1 bowl. You know, it was a good bowl, but it was enough for 1 bowl. With a bit of water, you know, to obviously make it into the soup and combine everything together. The curry powder and all that good stuff. It was bloody delicious. Now, the only thing I would say is with the crayfish, it's probably not the best combination with all those ingredients. I think next time I'd probably use very small chicken pieces. And I think then it would be absolutely delicious. But it, oh, I don't know whether you heard that or not, but it's my brand new wireless. Look at me, woohoo! My new wireless headset that I got for work. 80 quid. 80 quid. But hopefully I'll get that back because you're allowed to a certain amount of money per year for wellness, and that's one of the things I've put towards my wellness, because it means then I can walk and talk at the same time when I'm on meetings and stuff. So that's that. So anyway, that's all I've had today, but I've redone my macros. In fact, I've absolutely just killed my previous MyFitnessPal account and started a new one, and it's now Nellis, Nellis 13. If you want to follow me on there or talk to me on there or whatever, by all means. So I'm going out for a walk with my friend about 7 o'clock tonight, and I've allowed myself a butter coffee for after our walk. About 30 grams of McCarry Gold in a nice big mug of coffee at about 8 o'clock tonight, and that'll finish me for the day. So I'm not going to eat between now and about 8 o'clock tonight. So that'll be 6 hours. And it was roughly about 4 or 5 hours between the nuts and the soup. What I'm trying to do is then after 8 o'clock tonight, I won't eat again until, well, I'm going to try and go till about midday. So that would be 12 plus 4 is 16 hours. If I can push it to 2 o'clock, that would be even better, 18 hours. So I'm trying to prolong the period of time between eating. Then have a good substantial meal, keto friendly, but without guilt. And then again, from 8 o'clock, try and go through as long as I can. And really having 1 or 2 meals a day in that respect. So I've actually changed my MyFitnessPal to have breaking the fast period, i.e. a meal that sets me up for after I've woken up or whatever that period of time is. And then another meal at the end of that period where I'm allowed to eat, or whatever I eat during that period will then be in the feed period. So that's basically, I've got a start of eating and I've got an end of eating, and all my food basically fits into that. And then I fast the rest of the time is the theory. And honestly, my soda water saves my life half the time. Now, have I done it in any great stretch so far? No. I've done 14 hours, I think, yesterday, or up until this morning. I think I did about 14 hours. Or Friday to Saturday, I think it was. So that's that. Well, so I've put intermittent fasting and keto on my list here. So I wanted to talk about that. So I'm back on as much as I can, at least today. And honest to God, folks, right now it's 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. I am just literally tiny, tiny, tiny steps. I've got 2 buns still left in the fridge, and I've got some buttercream. The buttercream I'm giving to my friend as soon as she comes over, because she does a bit of baking, so she can have that. And the buns, if he doesn't eat them tonight, will go in the bin. So trying to get back on the keto, trying to get back on the regime, and trying to just persevere to getting this buggering weight off. So on that note, I've been doing a lot more research. Again, I'm back on Reddit again, and I find, look, it's like your finances as well. When you know you're cheating, you hide. So I hadn't done my monthly budgets in about 2 or 3 months, from August and September. I didn't do them. So I cleaned it all out and started again for October. And I'm back on track, and I'm back on focusing on my finances. So much so that everything that I owe, apart from my mortgage, is on 0%. And I am starting to kick the pants out of that. Now, a lot of that was because of the boiler, the central heating, and the rewiring that I got done in the summer. I paid a lot of it cash, but a lot of it I put on 0%, which isn't good, and it's not Dave Ramsey, but I needed to get it done, and I took the opportunity to get both done at the same time. So I needed to then put a little bit on the 0%. Plus I did my son's room, which I wanted to do for ages, and that went on a 0%. But those will start going on. Sorry guys, I'm just scratching my leg there. Those will go on to a snowball. So the only debt that I have that is interest added is my mortgage. And I have 2 accounts on that. I have the main account, and then I have what they call an admin. They've got sub-accounts. So the main actual bulk of my mortgage is in sub-account 2. Sub-account 1 is, if they ever add like an administration fee to your setting up the account. Well, I had that, and it was up to like $1,500 at one point, probably even more than that. I made a payment today, and I've got £200 left that's going to be interest applied to it. So that will be paid off. That will get budgeted from November, and then that will be that sub-account closed, so that any money that I'm paying, and I'm already paying about 50 quid over my mortgage every month, just as whatever the mortgage figure is, I rounded it up to the next 100. I got a little bit of an interest reduction there. This month was the first month because the interest rates went down again. I'm probably paying over and above, and I probably could get a lot of these sort of, fixed terms and whatever, but I'm just going with the one I've got at the moment. I think I'm now paying 3.74%. I know I could get 1 point something or other and whatever, but right now it's kind of given me an impetus to sort of just get it paid as soon as possible. Anyway, apart from that, so I've got £200 left on this little account, so that everything that I overpay is now then going to go at the main bulk of the mortgage. Now it's only going to end up being £60 a month for now. That will be an overpayment. So for example, my mortgage is now $440 a month. But I pay a flat $500. Some of it was going on the little one. It'll all then from December, it will all go towards the big account. It's a small amount. It's not making a huge dent in anything, but it's better than paying nothing. And it will only be then down to one interest accruing account, i.e. the mortgage. So the rest of the money that I have saved or I'm partitioning off, and I use YNAB, folks, by the way. I cannot recommend it enough. YNAB, you need a budget. YNAB. It saved my life. I wasn't atrociously in debt, but I wasn't focused on removing the debt. I also use it to apply the Dave Ramsey rules, and he has 7 baby steps. Step 1, £1,000 in emergency fund for when the boiler breaks, for when the car breaks down or whatever. That is absolute emergency money. That is not I've lost my job money. That is just, a leak in the roof and whatever, and you've got to get that sorted out there and then. It just gives you that money right there so that you don't then turn to your credit card in that moment. The next one is, which is probably most people spend the bulk of their life, is paying off your debt. Now, I actually got to the stage where I literally had about 2,000 at the very most, and that was my car loan. I got down as low as that. And then I, added all these things like my son's room, the boiler and whatever. They're all at 0%, but I shouldn't have them. You know what I mean? So they're next to get whacked off. Baby step 3 is your fully funded emergency fund. And that is 3 to 6 months of expenses. It's not 3 to 6 months of wages. It's 3 to 6 months of expenses, including your mortgage, your utilities, your food, and all those all those absolute must-have items. Step 4, if I can remember it now, is your pension, retirement fund. That is 15% put away. Now, most people have to now have a pension and stuff sorted out through work. So that's probably being taken care of now already. Baby step 5 is your kids' college fund or whatever that may be. So you're getting yourself ready for the next generation coming up. And then baby step 6 is paying off your house. And baby step 7 is investing and then giving back. So charities and your church or whatever you use that. So that's the 7 baby steps. And like I say, most people spend most of their time on baby step 2, getting rid of debt. I have completed baby step 1. I'm on baby step 2. I was so annoyed myself. I was nearly down, but I wanted everything done this summer. Well, when I say everything, I've still heaps more to do, but still. And then I'm started on baby step 3. I put £100 a month into one of those, those monthly saving accounts that if you took the money out, you would lose all the interest at the end of the year kind of thing. So I've got it in there. So it's only £100. I don't see it, but that's just starting to kind of get me, a head start on the fully funded emergency fund kind of thing. Anyway, guys, I've just realized I'm up to 25 minutes already and I haven't even hit half the things I wanted to talk about. don't want to go up, well, maybe do a 30-minute one and then that'll be it. So the hair, so I'll do a quick summary of everything else. Look at the hair is starting to grow. Look, I can tug it now. And look, see that wee patch there? That's where I keep wearing my headphones, so it kind of pushes the hair. So, you know, you can start to see it coming down now. Yeah, see? But I use this. It's Redken argan oil. And that just sort of gives it a nice wee oily finish. At this stage, you know, it doesn't get greasy because there's just not enough of it. But I put that on and you can still see it like a slight purpley colour. Whenever I do wash my hair or get a bath and whatever, I you know, every other time or so I put the Provoke. It's called Provoke, and it's the violet pigment brightening shampoo. That it's the intensive one, and that kind of just gives it that wee bit of a kind of purpley colour. Favourite Yankee candle at the moment? Lavender Sunset. Really nice and soft. I have one of those auto delivery things from QVC. The only time I buy from QVC tends to be my Yankee candles. When I try and get a today's special value, and this time they had one, and it was one of those auto delivery ones where you get three big jars delivered 4 times a year, each season basically. So I think that Lavender Sunset is from the summer season. I have had the winter ones as well, and the autumn ones, and one of the really nice ones is like an apple caramel one, really nice. What I tend to do is keep 2 and then I give another one to my mum. So I only ever keep the 2 out of the 3. Mum gets 1, and normally the one I don't like. Well, you would hardly give her the one you like the most, would you? Anyway, and so I'm still waiting for the winter one, and then I'll wait and see if there's a new Yankee Candle auto delivery one for next year that'll be set up. I'm going to have to maybe do another wee video catch up. You know, there's not much to talk about. I always come on thinking I've got nothing to talk about, and then suddenly, oh gosh, there's half an hour. The other thing is, got a bit of a Sharpie fixation right now. Although having said that, I waited. Now this is some of the old ones I had, and then a 24 set. There was Electro Pop. Anyway, they were 22 quid in Tesco's. They were about 19 quid or something on Amazon. I did a whole big price comparison. Went into Tesco's, and it was part of the, you know, sometimes when 2 weeks after back to school and then everything gets reduced to clear. They were down to 7 quid. And I hemmed and had, I went away, went back, you know, and I'm talking about over a period of about 2 weeks, because I only got them a week or so ago. And I thought, right, they're still at 7 quid. I'll get them. Went back last week, back up to 22 quid. So there you go. What else? I've talked about my soda water. I've talked about my headset. Oh yes, check out Jason Fung, Fung, for a lot more details on ketogenic, insulin, the hormonal theory of obesity, and how insulin is the bad bugger in all this. It isn't calories in, calories out. It isn't that you're a lazy glutton. I am, but that's besides the point. It's insulin. Okay? And how do you reduce insulin? How do you reduce your insulin resistance? And therefore, how do you get that stubborn fat gushing out of your body? And it can be done through keto living, low carb living, and sticking to it. And intermittent fasting as well helps, because that then gives your body a period where your insulin levels are driven down because you're not processing sugar that you've ingested. And so your body then starts to pick up more insulin sensitivity, which is what you want. You want the insulin sensitivity, not the insulin resistance. And that will help get the fat out. So I'm keeping that in my head every time I go to reach for something. I'm like, is this, going to trigger insulin? And if it is, it goes back. Easier said than done for gluttons, but that's what I'm trying to keep in my head. So half an hour's up. Gosh, I don't even know if you'll even get to the end of this, but thank you if you do. And thank you to Sandra for sending me an email telling me to get back on here and start doing my videos again. So I appreciate that, Sandra. I really do. And here I am again. So love to you all. Take care. See you next time. Thanks.